So, we oftentimes hear the phrase when talking about cinema: good artists borrow and great ones steal. I was thinking to myself, like, man, let me go through some of like the times when I've stole something from some of my favorite artists. And when I took my ego out of it a little bit, I went through like every project that I've ever done, and there's typically like a major influence played by a hero of mine, whether it's Spike Lee, Andrei Tarkovsky, Paul Thomas Anderson. So the first thing that I would say is how artists steal is the easiest way is stealing shot ideas. Cinema is a visual medium, so the first thing we see is the images. Okay, so here are some examples of when I've stolen ideas from some of my heroes. The first one that came to my mind immediately was my short film Right On that we did back in 2019. It was shot by incredible DP and a personal friend of mine, Jeremy Brockman. Amazing DP. He's right now out in LA with Project Involve, which is like one of the top artistic incubators in Hollywood for rising DP. So shouts out to Jeremy Brockman. But in any case, the first thing that I can remember was when we did Right On, I knew that I wanted to copy the dancing scene from Killer of Sheep. A lot of you might not have heard of Killer of Sheep, but Killer of Sheep is a film that came out in, I think, the 70s, if I recall correctly. It was created by Charles Barnett, legendary filmmaker. Killer of Sheep was actually, from what I understand, I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, from what I understand, it was his thesis film at UCLA. And so when we decided that we were going to shoot Right On Super 16 millimeter, there was there was no question that we were going to like mimic that scene, and so that's exactly what we did. Another film that I directly pulled from when it came to mimicking another one of my heroes was Bradford Young with Mother of George. We kind of mimicked that look in my short film The Inheritance. That was a part of our Darker Than Blue series. Darker Than Blue was a series of shorts that we did on they were hosted solely on Instagram. The Inheritance was the first short film that we made, and the one thing that always stood out to about Mother of George with me was just like the way the skin tones and the way the blues and the reds and all the colors were just very strong. The Inheritance was essentially, me trying to mimic what Bradford did in his early work. And that's, I think, if you're gonna copy somebody, if you're gonna try and be like somebody, then why not? Why not copy somebody like Bradford Young? The last example I want to give is actually from our newest film, I Wish I Could See Heaven. It hasn't been released yet. We shall be having screening dates soon. But anybody who knows me knows that I love the film Belly. Belly is, to me, and it's an incredible film. It's not the best story, but cinematically, what Hype Williams and Malik Saeed did visually, I honestly think it's one of those films that really hasn't been touched. It really is, to me, underpraised. And so there's this scene in Belly where DMX is talking to this guy named Ox. It's composed like a traditional OTS shot, like the shot reverse shot is composed like an OTS. But instead of focusing on the person in the background of the shot, they're focusing on the person in the foreground. And so there's a scene in I Wish I Can See Heaven where we did the exact same thing. And I literally just copied what they did in Belly on this particular scene. And it's not just about how it looks. When the film comes out and you understand what's actually happening within the scene with what they're talking about, you'll understand why it was shot this way, because there's like really like a detachment, or I would say like a sense of privacy between these two characters as they're having this conversation. All right, so that's pretty much how, you know, you can steal ideas from the people you look up to make dope art. But the key is to make it your own. The key is not to copy and paste or just lift it, but make it your own, make it apply, make it intentional. I think the beauty of cinema is that if you're intentional, it can kind of change the scope of whatever you can do. It can morph it into something special. So really utilize the tools that you have and utilize the information that these greats left behind, and it'll work out in your favor, I think. Or maybe not, but you gotta figure that out. Peace.